Hello, everybody. How's it going? Good to see you all. We're here getting ready to try to do some art. I've got a pretty big canvas, and I'm just gonna try to do something. I don't know what. I thought today would be a good time to try to use all the skills we've learned, though, over the course of several weeks of this, and I'm gonna try to, combine some things ideally. So, what I'm thinking is, we need to draw a person, and we need to. I'd like to start trying to learn how to draw landscapes, ideally. Also, I'm seeing my mic clip a little bit. We're going to try to turn that down a little bit, see if that helps. But I'd like to try to do a person today. I've done some research on this a little bit. I've kind of done some learning. You kind of start with just some basic shapes, your usual circles and whatnot in order to draw a person. And it seems to be working pretty decent for me. I mean, you guys can see here. I mean, this is a quick sketch, but it's some of it is actually better than what it has been before, and some of it could definitely stand to be better. Um, but if you just do some boxes, it seems to really, be pretty decent, all things considered, because you really do learn a lot about the anatomy of a person just by doing something similar to that. And then all you need is a little neck and a head, and boom. Now, your head isn't that size. I mean, to make it proportionate, there we go. That's a little bit better. So, like, all I have to do to fix that is kind of round out a lot of it, truthfully speaking. You sort of, kind of, not really all the way, but some of that. Technically, your head should have some muscle there, different things like that. But, that's a very, very basic, very um, quick way to draw a sketch of a person, but it's helped me a little bit to learn about how that works anyway. I had Subway for dinner, and so I've just got a little bit of root beer left here, but I've got a ton of water. I don't have a ton of water. I had a ton of water before I started stream. Then I started the countdown, and I started guzzling it down, I guess. But I do have a little bit of water. So I would like to start with just doing a person, and then after we do maybe ideally 3 different poses, maybe I'd like to try to do some poses today as well, just to get an idea of what a person should look like in different methods. Because I've been drawing people, but it's always been them looking directly, directly at um the camera, the viewer, the person. And I think it would be nice to have some different poses and, maybe even some action within those poses. I don't know. Alongside that, I think we might do. I'd like to try to do a landscape of some kind. I've never really done landscapes besides like the obvious things that everyone's done as like a kid with like mountains and you draw your trees, which this is all ugly anyway, but you do stuff like that. I've done that. But that was like when I was like 7 years old. I haven't tried to actually draw anything that looks good. So we'll see if I can get around to that or not, but I'd like to. Hey Nuggy, how's it going? Good to see you. Congrats on grabbing first there. Side view is so easy. I wish I just could draw people better in general. I mean, I do decent enough, but I'm just trying to like I guess I'm just trying to learn the best I can by doing everything a little bit. I don't know if it's the right way to do it, but it is certainly a way, I suppose. So I kind of learned one thing I was doing wrong, cause like, you know, I thought it was like, oh yeah, for a shoulder it would make sense to do a circle. Uh, from what I heard, though, it's kind of not really a circle. Something kind of more like that, anyway. It's sort of a circle. It's just more so smushed, I guess. I don't know. I don't know anatomy like all that well. I just know what I know, and that's about it. But that's what I heard anyway, was something similar to that anyway. And then I also found out your elbows should probably be the largest compared to like anything else that you're putting on your arm. Your elbows should be larger. It's like, I didn't really think about that. I always kind of make them smaller, which leads to your person looking a little bit wacky. I mean, just looking at that, that's pretty wacky looking already. So let me see if I can try. If I can try here. Something kind of like that, maybe. I don't know. And then, like I did earlier, you can still do a circle there to just show that, that's kind of where it would be. Just for the sake of, drawing stuff later. And then it kind of thins back down at the wrist. It's got to be as long as the arm. So we're going to shrink down our arm. But, now we know what we're doing a little bit anyway. And this is just a basic sketch. Let me just clarify. This isn't going to be anything beautiful. Sorry to disappoint. It's more so for practice, I suppose. And then we're not drawing hands, so not really that, but something similar to that anyway. Now we gotta draw another shoulder, so it's gonna be pretty similar to the last one. Something like that. And okay, it needs to not bend. I keep trying to curve it. I don't know why. Okay. And then come on. Sure, that's fine. So something sort of like that, I guess. And again, just another little fake hand there. So like, boom, we've done something. We've done it, sort of. And I kept asking, like, I guess a couple of streams ago, like, how in the world do you draw a chest? Because, like, chests are weird, man. I had always drawn them kind of like that, just to give you, like, some idea of there being muscle there, but I've also seen people kind of do, see if I can do it. See if I can do it right. It's kind of just essentially, how do you do that? You could kind of do something similar to that, at least for your basic sketch. I don't know. I'm not much of an artist myself. I pretend to be, though. See, your neck would go somewhere right about here. It's basically just a cylinder. So if we do like that, for example. But also you gotta do, okay, hang on, I'm trying to think. That's looking like something, but it doesn't look right to me still. Maybe I don't know. I haven't been practicing my drawing this week, I'll be honest. I need to, but I haven't been. I'm getting a bank account tomorrow, finally. Probably I don't have Face ID, so, well, hopefully they should be able to set it up for you still. Here in the United States, you can still set up a bank without a Face ID. It was one of the things that I had to set up before I even got my license, because they needed a proof of residency, and I didn't have a bank account to get my license. So they should be able to get you one still, hopefully. I don't. Canada might be different though. Mr. Krabs, oh wait, Iron Man. Just general sketch, but Iron Man wouldn't be a bad one to draw, considering some of the things I want to draw a little later. It would be nice to have something that's kind of more tech, robotics kind of look, you know. I like that idea. I might have to try that. Let's see if I can figure that out. We're just gonna sort of do maybe that instead. Okay. Okay. And I know somewhere down here, right? Somewhere down here. It's essentially a triangle, kind of. It just looks like underwear. Trust me, there's more going on than underwear there. That's just where the legs attach. So somewhere down here, you basically have to attach it up like that. Yeah, if I just do like, what is it? This, and then I totally know what it looks like. Okay, guys, I know how a bikini attaches to people. So like, if I had that, there we go. I think. I don't know. There's like so many variations. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see. So your rib cage would actually kind of basically be right there. Actually, it might be a little bit higher. Your abs sit higher than I thought they did. They actually sit like way up here, I think, which basically gives your belly button actually room there. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. I think I drew them still a little bit high. It might be maybe closer to here, maybe a little bit lower even. Let's see. So this would kind of be more like a midsection. Let me draw this correctly really quick. So between your chest and your what do you call it? This area. What is it called? It was in my mind. Your hips, your hip area. There we go. That's good enough. There's like this little box, I guess. And so if I just connect up everything to said box, I'll essentially have a finished product eventually. I gotta redraw this like chest muscle here because it's a little bit messed up, I'll be honest. Remember, people aren't really built like a door, they have a bit of curves. Yes, yes. Of course, of course. I'm gonna redo this one, it's bothering me. Let's try that again. Let's see. He's a little bit off, just in general. Oh no. You know, it's fine. It's fine. I'm a little bit off, he's a little bit off. Everybody's a little bit off. There's nothing wrong with that. Sure. That's fine. That works. That doesn't work, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. Let's see. What are you drawing? I'm just drawing a figure at this point. I'm just trying to sketch one together to try to get a good grip on drawing people before I draw people again. Because the last couple of times, I mean, I've been happy with the results recently, but they still aren't what I'm wanting, I guess. So I'm just trying to get proportions down a little bit. Also, now that I've got, like, a little bit of a shape here for his chest, I can, he doesn't actually have to have chest muscles. It's one of the cool things that I've learned here. Once you draw something with, like, the muscles as a reference underneath, you can get rid of them. And, it kind of works, just a little bit. Remember, women, I will never forget. I will never forget the absolute disappointment that I drew. It was quite awful. So okay, I'm trying to remember. It's essentially a triangle for your lower area, like your hips. That even might be a little bit too low. And technically, it doesn't end in a point. It's more of a... Here. Let's try this again. It's kind of more of a curve at the end there, just like that. Okay. So that kind of takes care of some of it a little bit. Your legs come out of, like, there, right? And one thing I was kind of messing up on is, like, the thighs. And you guys have seen me draw those a couple of times. They always kind of look wimpy. When it really should probably be your biggest muscle, unless you just skip leg day. You know, it's a pretty big muscle, all things considered. So it's something kind of like that, perhaps? Maybe? Okay, that's not awful. And just as a placeholder, a circle there. And okay, I'm not quite sure that looks right. Hang on. I want to make sure I do this right. Okay. Sorta, kinda. It's terrifying. Women will never not scare me. Sometimes I still see it every once in a while because I have it saved on my computer. And I go into a folder that I called Art Book to occasionally look at what I've drawn before. And, you know, I see all the things I've drawn with you guys on stream. But I also see some of the things that I drew before I started drawing on stream, and they're just terrifying. Women is the most egregious example. It was pretty awful, I'll be honest. Okay. You know what I did wrong here? So there's this thing about your shoulder, right? That's a shoulder. Now, your body kind of comes out like that, right? That's how it should sort of attach to your body. Your shoulder should be halfway on your body and probably about halfway on your arm, truthfully. The way I set it up here, this poor soul has his shoulder hanging out of his body, and the muscle just kind of swoops in there. I'm not sure that's anatomically correct, but you know what? It's fine. We didn't need it to be correct. Just give him a belly button there, just so I have a point of reference. Because does that keep him proportionate? I mean, I think that's sort of central. I mean, it sort of goes through the right space, kind of. Okay. Rib cage would technically be like right here then, right? That's definitely how a rib cage connects. I'm just trying to like frame of reference, you know? They just sort of kind of go all the way around, and yeah, something kind of like that. Okay. I think that's actually somewhat proportionate. I'll take it. It's not perfect. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect. But it isn't the worst. Okay, for some reason I want to say can kind of just treat the like the knee as like a diamond almost. And then the rest of the leg kind of goes down. Which would just mean that you can erase all that, essentially. And it should be fine. I mean, that is sort of right. I think. Maybe. I mean, we can ignore the hands and the arms. Those are pretty awful, but the legs aren't awful. They're not terrible. They're not great, but they're not terrible. Okay. Try that again. Okay, let's see how that looks. This is just an attempt. Nothing more, nothing less. What I'm gonna do there instead is I'm gonna try. Let's just. There we go. Not great. Not as great as the last leg, but not awful either. Now, I've never done well with heads. I always struggle with them. I mean, there are several ways to do it, so that's the good news. Let's just do a test shape first to make sure that I can draw the right size. That is most definitely too big, yeah. You want something more along the lines of... maybe even a little bit larger than that. Okay, maybe about that size. Let's just try to... try that, sure. Now I don't draw faces too well. I need to like probably look up a good tutorial on that, but some basic things that I kind of remember were you kind of draw like what, a box for the eyes, but the eyes are actually, if you do it correctly, so you take center point to center point, center point to center point. Everybody thinks your eyes should be kind of like up here. From what I read, though, you're supposed to kind of put them over the middle line, because for whatever reason that just, it makes more sense when you're looking directly on it. So that's what we're gonna try. I don't know the exact science behind that. That's just what I know. So we'll just start with squares here, or rectangles rather. Just like that. And I really should be practicing this on a different layer than what I'm doing right now. So let me just kind of soften up some of these angles. Okay, I can't really do it the way I want to. That's fine. So maybe something kind of more along the lines of that. Yeah, that's definitely how you should draw an eye. Oh no. Okay. Let's see if I can do it without drawing the box. Sort of, kinda. Let's try that again, but on this side first. Okay. Now, eyebrows are kind of fun. I don't like drawing them. They suck. Just because you can do so many weird things with them, but it never looks right. So we'll just sort of do something maybe, no. Sure, that's fine. That works. So for a nose here, it kind of goes down the middle. It starts at your eyes, the bottom of your eyes, and it kind of just works its way down there. So something sort of similar to this, maybe? I don't know, I'm not really well versed in this. You just do like that. Okay. Sure, that's fine. That works. And then smiles are always hard. Like, I struggle with faces in general, but the smiles never help. Or even really just any of the mouth. I just, like I said, I struggle. I mean, you can give them really big lips. We could do, you know, my standard happy face. Okay, that's not quite a happy face. Hang on. There you go. There's a happy face. Also, we gotta put like little pupils in there. There we go. And one other thing. For the sake of hair, I mean, you could just do that as well. Maybe a little bit better than that, though. So your hair would look somewhere around there. Anything you do is bonus, so in that case, you know, your hair would split somewhere around there. So we can kind of just comb it down, and the rest just kind of goes over this way. Basically. I don't know if we'll do hair. We'll see. Hair is hard. I don't like doing hair. Everything is hard, you know? I'm not a huge fan of drawing. It's all hard. Okay. This is a person. This is definitely a person. We can ignore the really messed up shoulder there, which honestly can be fixed. I mean, something maybe like that. And I've sort of fixed it, kind of. It's not perfect, but it at least has something there. Yeah, a person. It's a person. This is a person. It's a person if I've ever seen one. Um, I mean, we've gone a long way from what we did do. That is for sure. I mean, I could probably still draw us a buff dude though. Like, I can draw those like the back of my hand, which, albeit, is not very well. Um, that being said, though, we're gonna still do it just to prove I can do it. Let's see. How do you do this? Something sort of like that. Just to assert the fact that I know how and know exactly what I'm doing. Somewhere up here is your head. And your arm would sort of kind of go out like that. And your hand, if it goes somewhere, it kind of goes right there. Give you a little bit of a thumb. Okay. And this is where I really mess things up. And let's see if I can sort of fix this. Okay. Ignore the really, really freakishly long arms, but, you know, I gotta say, this is, honestly, it might even be better than this. I'm gonna be honest. Like, we don't need him. This guy right here, though, like, uh, just give him, like, some really obnoxiously large eyes there. He looks mutated. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with being mutated. He's fine. He's beautiful, and he doesn't need anyone's approval. Steroid user. Here, we can give him some hairs too, like. There you go. That's definitely how you do hair. Actually, how do you do hair? Let me, like, try here. I can't imagine it being that hard, right? It's not quite like that. It's kind of more like, just kind of follow like a natural flow with it, right? Essentially, if you're doing really long hair anyway. I mean, obviously I'm not doing this absolutely great, especially since it's not on another layer, but that's, you know, that's a form of hair. I mean, we just, like, if I said it's hair, that's all that needs to happen, basically. The second I say it's hair, it is. And if I just, like, you know, he's got half a head of hair. I could do the other half and it might look a little bit nicer. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Nobody will be able to tell the difference. Like, he's beautiful. Look at him. Sometimes I do things just to be ridiculous. Let me be honest here. I'm not actually trying. Okay? I could try. I think this is more funny, to be honest. Like, make him look absolutely stupid. It's kind of like when you guys play Ark. I don't know how many of you guys have played Ark, but that's basically what this is. To me, anyway. Like, sometimes, like, yeah, I'm actually gonna try. Like, let me see. Where's one that I actually tried? Some of this I have tried on. Not today yet. Desktop art book stream. The Twin Towers I did try. Not this Twin Towers, but this one I did. That was mostly because I was following a tutorial. I definitely tried on this Spider-Man. Let's see. This one I tried on. He's not awful. He's near the end I gave up, but you know, he's not the worst. This one was for the meme. I don't know what picture 2 is, but it's not showing up. Discard. Doom guy I kind of tried on. I tried for about half of him. And then you know about the point where I gave up. I think you can tell about the point I gave up. We can ignore most of that. Let's see. Batman. I will say he might be the only one I tried on for the first sketch. And it was just because after I realized what he started to turn into, and he fit like the how it should have ended style, I was like, you know what? Or what I'm reminded of when I look at it. It fits like that dumb little art style to me anyway. I might not be thinking of how it should have ended. It's probably one of the other ones, but I was like, you know what? Let's actually try here, and I'm happy with how that one turned out. It's dumb, but it's nice. This one's not awful. It's not my favorite. I think once I reduced the detail and redid his face, I'm a little bit more happy with that. And then of course, I guess like one that's really hard to mess up and I didn't really even try on was Wojak King here. It was just line art. All I did was trace it. But you know, it did teach me some things. Also, my elbows are incredibly small there. That's disturbing. I didn't realize. Are my elbows actually that small? No. Okay, I just messed it up. You know, that's fine. I'm getting a little bit jump scared by looking at this guy. I'm not gonna lie. He needs to look a little more happy. There you go. That doesn't look happy. Try again. Something looks creepy about him, and I think I know what it is. Okay, it's the eyes. It's something about the eyes. We just soften them a little bit. To be honest, I'm not... Maybe it's not the eyes. I thought it was the eyes, but I'm thinking it wasn't. He's a creature. He's a creature, all right. Okay, let me come up here and actually try something else. The brows? Is it the brows? It could be. Here, you know what? You might be right. There's a certain intensity about them. If I just get rid of them. And maybe like, okay, a little less aggressive. There we go. Now he just looks upset. Can I like draw you some neutral eyebrows? Just something that doesn't look creepy, ideally. We can ignore the fact that his eyes are looking in completely opposite directions. Yeah, we'll ignore that. Okay. Maybe if I like do something with the hair, I don't know. Here. Very basic outline of hair. There we go. Sure, that helps a little bit. It makes him look a lot less bald. That helps. Bald people are scary. I don't know if you guys have ever seen bald people, but they're terrifying. I messed up the hand so bad on your chibi, by the way. Okay, listen, man. You can't do any worse than me. My hands suck. So, like, I don't blame you one bit on that. Let's see if I can sort of draw a hand here. Hands are just not fun. Like, how do you do this? I really need to probably like look up a tutorial on how to draw hands and just practice them. Like, that's a hand. It's certainly a hand. It's a hand if I've ever seen one. Let me try that again. There's like a little bit more of a crevice there. It's not quite as thin. This one should be a little bit longer and a little more proportionate. And part of it is it's just so flat. Like, hands suck. I'm not even gonna bother trying to fix that one. We're gonna try a different drawing. Dorito mentioned Iron Man earlier. I might be able to at least work off of a reference for him. That's part of it. Also, I don't have a reference pulled up. Let's try. Let's take a look at Iron Man here. I need a better reference than that. That's too low quality. Hold on, I just found out there's an Iron Man game being worked on. What? Okay. When was this announced? I gotta know. How have I missed this? They don't have a release date. Doesn't look like. News. I gotta look at it. I gotta find out. I'm sorry. Made by the same people who did Dead Space remake. Cool. Okay, I'm getting distracted. They also did Star Wars Squadrons. Doesn't look like they have any news posted on their site, so it might have been canceled by now, who knows. Sent you a kind of basic way to do hands? Oh, hands suck, dude. I respect it. I respect anybody who can actually even do that. I don't even know what you did, to be honest. You kind of did like that, right? And then up, up, in. And then kind of like, not like that. A little bit less. And then if you just combine two of them for one here, like so. It's a little bit too wide, but that gets the point across, essentially. It could be a little bit less wide, that's for sure, with the scale that I went with on some of this. This should have been like a little bit more in, which would have given you probably there, which scrunch it all together a little bit, it probably would have been fine. Not bad though, that's not a bad way of drawing them. Thanks for sharing that, by the way, Nuggy. Let's see. I just did the cha-cha slide and it was epic. Hey, let's go. It's a rite of passage. Everybody must do the cha-cha slide at least one time. I haven't cha-cha slide and I haven't done a cha-cha slide in a long time. I don't dance. I don't even dance at weddings. I have vowed to never touch the dance floor ever again. It just won't happen. I'm sorry, guys. What was I gonna draw? Iron Man, right. He's one that you don't have to worry about too much proportion wise because it's all metal. So like, what are they gonna do? You know? So we've got an iconic picture here. Let me open it in a new tab. And we could start by tracing it, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna try to eyeball it because I need to get good at that. This one? Yeah. Okay. Pretty much that. Okay. So yeah, we'll try to draw this and see what happens. I'm sitting down because the cha-cha makes my legs hurt. Apparently we got some slow dance songs, so yippee. Those those will at least give you a little bit of a break. That'll be good. That'll be good. Plus, if your girlfriend is into dancing, you know, that could be a nice little moment, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. Okay. I'm trying to like figure out where's a good starting point with them. You know, boxes, ideally, I guess. So we're gonna just new layer this, right? And first box is where his head will go. So somewhere right about there, maybe. So we know his head will go there. His next box is gonna kind of be probably right about there, where his chest area will sort of be. This box right here is kind of where his shoulders go, sort of. It's not supposed to be exact, don't worry. He's gonna have a smaller box down here for where his like abdomen would be, and then another box right about here for his stomach, which is way too large, so we're gonna shrink him down. I should have known it was gonna be too large. This could honestly make up 2 parts of him, so let me shrink that down. That's his upper chest. Mid. And then your lower. Which, you know, we'll just triangulate it already. We'll just do circles already, because I already know I'm gonna do it a different way. Okay. It's the church camp one. I remember the last dance I went to. It was pre-COVID, and I sat in the corner crying alone because the music hurt my ears, and I could feel the music in my body shaking me. I also had like 2 friends. It was not a fun time. The last place I went that had dancing, people asked me to dance, and I just didn't. It was a good time. I don't like dances. I'm gonna be honest. I don't get it. I don't understand why people dance. Like, I get that it's probably fun for some people, but I just don't get it. And I'm not saying that to, like, you know, I'm not saying that just to rain on anybody's parade. If that's your thing, more power to you. But I just don't get it. Okay, like that sort of is proportionate, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. It might not be. And you know what? Who's gonna stop me? Nobody. Absolutely nobody. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna already turn it kind of more opaque there. That way I don't see it as much. So let's start with an arm here. I think that might be easiest. So he's got like a pretty circular arm here. Or shoulder anyway. The last dance I went to was a dance on Valentine's Day, which always reminds me of being single. 2025 the year, though. What? Oh, wait. 2025 is the year. Got it. Got it. Yeah, that's gonna be your year, man. I believe. I believe. I'm a little bit slow. Let's see. So if I do this right, it's kind of... So his shoulder, right? It's going to still follow the same principle there. You know, his shoulder somewhere underneath all the armor is going to sort of look like that. It's just how much armor is he going to have over top of it, which in this case is actually going to be a decent amount. And it's going to sort of look like something more like that anyway. And we'll maybe possibly add more details to that. I don't know. Probably not. We're just gonna kind of do this and call it line art. And nobody can stop me. I'll imagine being single. Okay. Really? Did you have to do that to me, man? Everybody's always reminding me. I'm worried, guys. Like I've started hearing more and more stats that are basically pointing to me gonna be single for a very long time. Let's see, singleness stats. Let's see if I can find it. So Trying to find it. Okay, I am in the majority of men. I don't know how this works exactly. This is not good. Oh no. Okay, so nearly half of all young adults are single, 34% of women, and a whopping 63% of men. I am in a majority, but it's not good in this case. Let's see, I'm looking for a specific stat here, but can't find it. I don't know, but there was somewhere in there eventually, like after you exit high school, basically your chances of any luck with love and relationships drops dramatically. I'm not able to find the exact one I'm looking for, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. What's the worst that could happen? Better raise someone up soon, then. You know, that's the hope. I just gotta find somebody who's preferably not insane. But those people are hard to come by, as it turns out. I could probably, like, if I could just find somebody that I think I would be happy with, I could probably convince them that I'm a decent enough guy to give it a shot. But I just don't really have anybody that's all that interesting, to be honest. What about that last girl? You know, something happened and it made her a lot less desirable. To put it absolutely simply. Yeah, that's where I'll leave that one. I want to know now what? I mean, like, I'm not gonna say exactly, but basically, mostly due to personal preference, that will never work out. And, you know, that's okay. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Um, hand will go somewhere right about here. So just for the sake of drawing a hand, you know, there's a hand. Wow, look at that. So if I were to also like just Control C, Control V, new layer it, and flip it. Okay, not flip all of that. First, I need to make the layer cropped. That way I don't lose it. And now if I flip it, there we go. One of the great advantages to doing this through a digital program. Can you DM it at least? I might not. Depends on how much I want to troll or not, you know? Sometimes I like to let the suspense hang in there. It's kind of fun. see, let me try to do a head here. So his head is a little bit wacky, you know? Something sort of like that, kind of. And somewhere down here, you've got your chin. It's flat. His chin is so flat. But I kind of get it as well when you're making a metal suit. It doesn't have to be round. So it's something sort of like this, I think. Kind of. And just to get an idea of where I'm at with this, his eyes will be center. So somewhere right about there. Okay. So there's an eye. And there's an eye. Roughly where they're supposed to be. And just for the sake of adding it, you can have like your little red spots, I guess. This is definitely to scale. I'm just trying to quickly make it look at least somewhat resemblant. I'm not taking a whole lot of detail though. See if I can figure this out. It's like the cheek, like it kind of comes up and over. Something sort of like that. I don't know, that's good enough. Like, you could add like the mouth, I suppose. He's got like this dumb little mouth. I always thought it looked stupid. It's not quite like that. Okay. I mean, I get it. He'd probably look naked without the mouth, but I'm not a huge fan of it, to say the least. And I'm thinking, okay, I think I'll redo his face. I'm not liking how that's looking. We'll just stick with a basic head for now. So his armor, right? It sort of does something kind of like this. Connecting into there, and then right about here. Something sort of like that, maybe. I don't know, I'm... Okay, now I'm like concerned it's either your standards or whack or what she did was crazy. A little bit of both. I mean, my standards aren't whack. They're just very specific because I'm not going to invest time in somebody I don't see a future with. I don't want to waste their time or mine, so... And it wasn't anything crazy towards me. Like, it wasn't like it was some personal, like, attack or anything. Okay, not up there. Like, right about here. Sure. So his arc reactor, it would be somewhere right about here. So just for the sake of adding it, boom. It'd actually probably be a little bit lower. Let me... Okay, I don't want to move all of that. Can I just move the selection? Why can't I? Selection, there we go. It's still not letting me drag down the selection. What the heck? Okay. Well, I'm just gonna have to redraw it then. I just screamed all party of Party in the USA. My man. Beautiful song. I cannot sing it though, I will be honest. That one is a little bit out of range. That's a circle. It's definitely a circle. Okay. So we're gonna try to like get this chest figured out. He essentially, the way he built it was kind of like genius a little bit. It's very angular. And it works. So you kind of come from where the shoulders are and you just kind of come straight down at an angle like that. And it comes in and then sort of back up. So sort of like that. Now he's a little bit wide. I didn't realize just how much larger this side is compared to the other side. That's not going to work. So let me... Wait, I can't do that. I can't... Okay. Let me do... Can I, like... cut? And then paste it? Essentially... It'll be in a little bit more like that. Or no. You would want to do that to the other side. Sorry. But it's fine. It's fine. This playlist is great. No slow dance yet, unless you consider Talking to the Moon slow dance. Talking to the Moon. Do I know that song? I'm sorry, I'm an old guy. You're gonna have to bear with me here. Bruno Mars? Okay. Old guy. That is old guy music. Was that one that was in Twilight or something? He has a couple of songs in Twilight. I might know that one. Hang on. Talking to the Moon. Came out 2010, so I doubt it was in Twilight. Okay, it was on his debut studio album. Okay. Then I might know it. It was kind of in the time period where I was conscious about what I was listening to. It's old, but not old. I sit by myself talking to the moon. Here, let me just listen to it. Zippo lighters. I used to sell those at Walmart. Can I watch my video, please? I'm in the middle of an ad. Okay. This sounds like all of his songs, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, yeah, I know it. I don't need that anymore. I'm good. I got it. Got it. I burned that one out of my mind for a while. Okay. Nice. I don't need to hear them anymore. So if I do that, like, it's not as noticeable. It's still very noticeable, don't get me wrong, but it's not as noticeable. We can ignore it. Okay. Um, and then the rest of his body is actually relatively simple. Let's see if I can do this. So this sort of drifts down like that. Like, sort of, I guess. Everything's sort of off because this is way too large on one side, but it's fine. I just found out the dance lasts for another 3 hours. Jeez, that's long. My goodness. King, I have an ugly surprise, DMs. What do you mean that's ugly? Can I show stream? Oh my gosh. That's amazing. Your drawing is getting better? That looks like Iron Man. I mean, it looks somewhat. I guess the hand's terrible. No, it's not. Here, let me see if I can quickly copy image. This needs a full canvas, just so you guys can appreciate it, okay? Look at this, okay? I had to shrink him down just a tad. Look at him. I don't know what you're on about the hand being terrible. That looks like a hand. That is amazing. My goodness, dude. I you know, I only wish I could do this, okay? Like, you gotta understand. You're probably comparing yourself to people who are like have been drawing till for, 20 years or whatever. And like you're not even 20 years old. I'm somebody who's only been drawing for a couple of weeks. If this is considered bad in your books, like just understand, in my books this is considered like perfect. Like I don't know what you mean about this hand looking terrible. I mean, here, let me show you what I would draw that hand as. Let me make sure I'm using the right size brush. Okay. If I were to draw this hand, it would probably look something. Even I'm eyeballing it. Even like, I recognize that eyeballing it is actually giving me a little bit of an advantage, and I'm still gonna suck. Like, there's just something about the way you've drawn it that I think looks perfect, honestly. Like, I mean, look how ugly this hand is that I've drawn. Like, don't even. Don't even. I don't even know what I did wrong. It just doesn't look good. Yours honestly looks better. Nuh-uh. I'm actually going to just shrink him down enough so he fits, but I'm not gonna shrink him down any more than that. There we go. That's better. Yeah. Look at him. That is amazing. I wish I could do this. I wish. If I were to do it, you know what it would turn out? He would turn out buff. That's just how it goes. Like, if I were to draw this, he would end up on a pretty big frame, with a pretty gnarly looking head here, you know? Those are his glasses, if you couldn't tell. But he would be buff, and you know, that's about the only thing that I can draw is buff dudes, weirdly enough. Sort of buff dude. See? But like what you drew, I just gotta say it's impressive. Like, don't doubt your capabilities. And might I add the shading, even like on the cape and the neck here, fantastic. I'm impressed. My goodness, Nuggy. I don't know. One day, one day, one day, one day, I need to like sit down and study your art, and maybe I can copy it. Maybe I could copy it. I don't know though. It's like the crown as well, dude. I don't know how you do it. I don't know. Like it's just so good. I I don't know, man. Okay, we'll go back to this, but putting me to shame over there, jeez. And then proceeds to call it bad, like the audacity. The audacity, my man. Mini King. Just hit 40k points, nice. No, the shading is the worst I've ever done. At least you have shading, okay? Like, I'm not trying to like tell you off here, but like you got to understand like you know, you're probably looking at it like it's a graph here. Like let's say there's a graph here. So this is time, right? And this is like I don't know, skill. Just for the sake of this looking right. There we go. Skill. So like, let's say you're this black line right here, right? You're getting better over time, you're getting better, you're getting better. And let's say you didn't start at the beginning of time because you physically just, you know, you were a baby at one point. You may have not been drawing since you were 2 years old. So, you know, let's say you start here. You know, it's gonna take some time to get where you want to be. Whereas if you're looking at somebody who's been drawing longer than you, I mean, like, you know, they've already got a pretty heavy lead there. So for you to get up there, you know, it's gonna take time, and you could, but you know, it takes time. Like you're consuming content as well. Like that's the other thing. Like if you compare it to like something Disney would put out there, like you know, some of those Disney animators, you know, they've been doing this for 30 years, so they're starting with a pretty big skill gap of what you've already been consuming as a kid. So don't be too hard on yourself. Time will make it like so much more bearable. It's the only thing making me get through this here is like, you know, I know I'm consuming a ton of like visuals that the people who spent making those, you know, they've been doing it, you know, for 20 years, longer than I've been alive. And so for me to actually get there, like, it's not fair for me to compare myself to the people who have done it, you know, all that time. Okay, wait, I made a drawing for me and my boyfriend, and just because it looks slightly different than my other art styles, he hates it. I sent it to you. Okay. I won't lie. At first, it scared me a little bit But it's so good still. Like, I love it. I I know it's a little scary. It's the eyes. Yeah, eyes are hard. Eyes are so hard. But it looks so good still. Like, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Practice always makes better. Absolutely. It just takes a lot of practice. It sucks to practice. I hate practicing. It might be my least favorite thing to do. I really should be practicing more than once a week too. But I won't. Like, let's be honest here, I won't. And because of that, I'll probably take longer to get good. That's how did I do that? Let's clean that up really quick. We're not doing legs today, apparently, you know? We don't need them. That's a wide Iron Man, but you know, it's fine. People will know it's him. And technically, this is still a sketch layer. Like, if it were me, I'd probably refine it even more if it were like a serious drawing, which I probably should try to do a serious drawing today. But for some reason, I can't really get myself to do it with any of the current ones. Maybe we'll do like, maybe instead of doing something hard, I have some things that we could do kind of more as like a, just as something to keep me sharp, I guess. I don't know. Let me see. I don't really like any of these ideas though. I don't know, we'll see. I need to find some things that I just want to draw and make like a huge list, you know? It would definitely do me some good. Let's see. That's a little scary to see. As king, I'm literally a legal adult. If a creep tries to ask me out, I can't use the excuse that I'm a minor, so it's illegal. I have to say I have a boyfriend, and they won't believe me, and they'll harass me. So that's why here in the U.S., I'm a huge fan of things, because if they try to harass you, there's this really cool thing that we have. May I present to you firearms? Now this is a fake one. This is a sci-fi firearm. But projectile launchers are great. Canada, you know, you guys have them, but all the cool ones are banned. What if what if the creep shoots me because I rejected him? Most Americans aren't that unstable. A lot of them are. But then again, who isn't? You know, in Canada they could stab you still. So, I mean, like, although I mean in Canada you can also probably just like report them to the police. And I mean, you guys have hate speech there, so I mean, can't carry a concealed knife. I mean, probably not legally, but you can definitely conceal a knife. If you I know I can conceal a gun. And I mean, guns are a lot bigger than knives. So I mean, perhaps not legally, but I mean, you can't legally shoot a person either. So yeah, I'm waiting till I move to press charges on the guy that I had a recent issue with. That's fair. Because he has many knives. I see, I see. Yeah, I wouldn't blame you for wanting to wait then. You know, why can't people just be like generally speaking, good people. Like, is that so much to ask for? Also, I'm going to copy the image, and we're going to do away with that. And what I'm going to do... Oh, I did that wrong. Copy that. Okay, we're going to try to trace it this time and see what happens. Okay, I want to make sure I do the right sizing here. I want to... that's about the right size, yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what we'll do then. So I'm going to put him here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make him slightly more opaque, because it would be annoying to draw otherwise. If I need to, like, see a better outline. You know what I could do, now I think about it? Is it contrast? No, what I'm thinking of is... It is in color. I'm just trying to remember which one it is. It might be exposure, even. There's a specific thing I'm looking for. You know what? If I do color, take away all the saturation, right? That'll give me enough of a contrast there that I can at least see his lines. That'll help. A hydrate, a stretch, a candy. Oh boy, he sent me a message like a week after trying to convince my friends I was lying. I sent you what he said. Here, let me grab my sugar while I read this. And do I have... There's a little bit of stuff in this. I'll quickly drink that. It was a little bit pathetic, but there was a little bit in there. And a stretch while I'm opening this bag, and then let me read this. Let's see. Come on. Let's see. Come on. My chair's wanting to turn with me. Oh. Ooh. That was nice. Goodness. Alright. Excuse me? Bro did not actually just try to claim that... Basically, he was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, but... You know, I don't really... I still didn't do it. Like, I don't know. That's weird. That's weird. Gosh. Something's up with that. Doesn't scream a whole lot about honesty, that's for sure. So let's see. For this, it's very angular. That's something I messed up with. I mean, not completely messed up with this, but it's a little bit messed up with. I also, you know, again, the center line is completely off on this. And honestly, I should probably make a couple of center lines, because for him, it's something pretty dead on there. Let me do a new layer. Okay. So, yeah, armor can be pretty straight angled, which makes sense. So that'll, you know, that'll probably help me a little bit anyway. I've been wanting to do some work on my video game idea. I've finally started like planning out some stuff. And one thing I want to do a lot of is like planning for the armor and whatnot. His head, weirdly enough, though, isn't very angular. I mean, it is, but it isn't at the same exact time. Also, I'm getting a little bit dizzy. I'm gonna try to not have too many issues with that, but I don't know why I'm dizzy. I might have to get up and take a break soon, just to see if that helps, but I don't know if it will or not. Line art is so much fun, because I don't have to do, like, any effort whatsoever. It's basically, oh yeah, I want it to look like this. Let me just quickly add, you know, a couple of lines, and then boom. Okay. I am trying to learn from the line art, though, so I will say it's not quite just let me draw a couple of lines, but in this case, I'm learning, you know, like, one, it's pretty much all angles, which is easy enough. It's pretty simple. But it's also, you know, it's, later on, I'm gonna be able to take this kind of concept and figure out, like, details and stuff. So, like, in this case, I mean, I've turned off the color, but if I actually had color in this, it would be helpful for me to look at it and kind of understand shading. And in this case, I actually could still shade it, because I know what colors Iron Man is, and I can see where the light is on his body here. I can tell, you know, there's a pretty harsh light line there. So I know there's a shadow being casted over here. And so I know it's going to be brighter over here than it is over here, which would be kind of nice to be able to shade with. Okay. You're back. All right, sounds good. Sounds good, Kai. I'm just curious how this looks so far. You know, that's not bad. Not bad. I mean, again, I have a hard time with line art because I feel like when I'm tracing it, I just feel like I'm cheating. So I'm really gonna just be critical of it no matter what. But at least I can say I'm doing something, I suppose. It's like, there you go. That's sort of Iron Man. I mean, it's a little bit off, but if you do that, that'll sort of kind of help decide it a little bit more. And part of it is also like his body posture is off in this scene because of the way he's mid step in this scene, I believe. So everything's gonna look a little bit wonky. If you're not prepared for that, I guess. And that is a crappy excuse for a circle. Almost. Sort of. I'm struggling right there for some reason. There we go. That's basically right. Okay. So all that would be left here is, you know, your eyes. Which in this case, I'm just gonna all black them. And then we're just gonna sort of do some right angles there. Again, perspective is everything in this case. So a lot of it is kind of already messed up because of that. Like he's got a little bit of a wacky perspective, which is kind of throwing parts of it off. So what I can probably do, something more along the lines of that. And I think yeah, I don't know. I mean, that one's a tough one. I might be able to get rid of the mouth and see how that looks. But again, perspective seems to be throwing it off. I'd have to do something similar to this. Which honestly isn't the worst. Let me try that again. See, so it sort of goes out, up, and then out again. Still not right. Just go down. I'm struggling there for some reason. Let's try that. I don't know. We'll just keep that for now. We'll do like a little basic mouth, I guess. There we go. Look at that. That's definitely Iron Man. You could even add your little plating here. I don't like that. Just to give down here a little bit more detail, you can even do that. But I don't like that. Okay. That's basically the ongoing issue that I've been seeing here. I don't like that. Um, thing I can also do right here. Suit should be finished. Kind of like that. That sort of helps tie in his perspective, at least where the chest would be. Good. Okay. Now his arms are a little bit weird, so I wonder if I could fix those. Kind of make them look right, because I've traced it, so I know it's supposed to be right. It just doesn't look right. So maybe if I do that, that sort of helps. His joints here, like this, that should be sort of where his elbow is, maybe more so right there. So something looks off about those. So how would we go about, fixing that? I think a lot of it could probably be fixed by how would I fix that? Because I can see right here, I've traced it. So I know where what it needs, essentially. I just can't seem to figure out how to do what it needs. I would think, I don't know. Let me hide that picture. What I'm gonna do is we're now gonna copy him and we're gonna move him over. So we're gonna do a sketch of my sketch. You ready for this? Sketchception. So we're making a new layer. So I've got this. Now I'm going to make him pretty opaque. And I'm going to draw underneath him here. And we're going to try to fix his anatomy a little bit and see if that works. So, just starting with his shoulder. We know it's probably right about there. And we know underneath his shoulder, his arm kind of comes out. Same deal here. And then his other arm bit would sort of come out alongside it. And they're supposed to kind of come together a little bit. They're supposed to be also rounded, So maybe that's what I need to fix here, is kind of round him out a little bit. I don't know. Let's see, if that's where his shoulder goes, though, then his chest would probably be somewhere around there. So yeah, his arm needs to basically come out. Like this. And circle there, right? Which would just end up kind of being sort of more along the lines of that, even. Sure. That's a thumb. That's just a hand in general. Okay. I think that shoulder's a little bit too big, but you know what? It's fine. This dude's gonna be pretty muscular, I guess, so... just kind of stick with that. And what I want to do... kind of mark that as a center point anyway. I don't know. Something about it. Drawing is hard, guys. I don't know. Let's try something else. I like the idea we had here, but I don't think I can get myself to do it. So what I will do is I want to pull up a tutorial for something else. Let me try going to YouTube really quick. And okay. I want to draw a landscape. I've been wanting to try to draw a landscape for a while. So let me see if I can find like something here for digital. That's 21 minutes. I don't want to do like a whole like 20-minute tutorial, you know. I want to try to do something pretty small if I can. Okay. Let's try like a short tutorial here. We've got this 10-minute one. Can't imagine it being too bad. Also, I don't need the Fiverr ad, thank you. Although he said that one took him an hour 50 minute, which might be a little bit insane, but you know, we're just gonna probably do the most basic form. Spend as little time as possible. Okay, I think this is an interesting idea. We'll try it. So if we do that, there we go. What am I seeing? You're seeing greatness, my friend. So much greatness. It's beautiful, is it not? I think I'm realizing something, okay? Looking at all of these, there's one thing that's probably mostly in common with a lot of these. The arms are absurdly long. I mean, this one especially, but we can ignore that one. That one was more so just a proof of concept. Gosh. We're gonna try one more drawing here. Hey man, some people are just built different. Quite literally, yes. You are correct. There's nothing wrong with that. We're gonna try one more drawing here. I've been wanting to do like some concept art stuff for like environments with my game. That way I can kind of get something that I can reference whenever I'm like stuck. And so I thought I would kind of learn how to do it, and this guy's got a tutorial. So we'll see what he recommends here anyway, and see if I can figure out some stuff.
Hey everyone, today we're looking at this desert temple environment and how to paint it from scratch, step by step. My name is Victor, I'm a concept artist.
Hi, Victor.
So let's get started with the process. Before starting to work with colors, you want to flesh out your idea a little bit. It could be a color or black and white thumbnail sketch, like this one I did in the previous video, or a simple line work sketch like we're doing right now. Oftentimes this part is the toughest. You also probably shouldn't rush this stage. You shouldn't rush painting at all, but that's another topic. And the reason is the drawing is what serves as the foundation for the whole painting later on.
Telling me not to rush is like basically begging me to try to see how fast I can do it, but I'll try not to rush it. We'll see how that goes. Let's see. Okay, okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a new layer right there. And how much of a canvas space do we have to work with here? About that much. Okay. I'm gonna try to keep everything on one canvas today. We'll see how that goes. So if I crop it to the selection, now I can't go out of the canvas. There we go.
I'm kind of eyeballing the perspective here, but depending on how much experience you have with it, you might want to put down some perspective grids to figure out where the vanishing points are. The downside of working without them is that later on you might find some mistakes or inconsistencies, and you'll just have to adjust those elements whenever you see that they're off. Alright, when you're done with the line work, you can jump in with colors. Starting from the background is oftentimes...
So start with the line work, essentially, is what he said. Cool. Okay. So I don't really know what we're drawing just yet, but it'll be cool probably. Like let's think, okay? Let's say we wanted to do let's try to take inspiration here. So if I wanted to do like a sci-fi like planet, something that's you know, not ordinary anyway. So let me see if I can find a landscape that kind of would be interesting to kind of take some inspiration from. So like, what if we did... Okay. You know what? I just take it from Earth and then alienify it later. What am I doing trying to make this so hard on myself? Literally, geography is geography. It's gonna be the same pretty much any planet, given the circumstances. So that would... I'm a genius. I am such a genius. Let's see if I can find one that's like a desert. I don't know why, but I'm feeling desert today, and that's what's in the tutorial already, so... So we'll do like a... sort of like, you know what? Okay, I need to make up my mind. I'm getting too many ideas here. So... if I would do like... It makes sense to start with a landscape initially, but he started with his structure. So let's start with the structure rather, but I've got some desert photographs to kind of help me here as well if I need to figure out a what do you call it? Like a I need to figure out a landscape. Sorry, I'm struggling today. I really am, but I'm trying. I'm still trying. So there's like you know what we could do? We could just kind of start with some pretty fine lines. Is kind of what he mentioned was, you know, you start with your basic lines so that you can kind of get perspective into play. So what if we did some of those first? I've never done stuff like this before, so it's gonna kind of be a little bit wacky. See if we go like that to there. Okay. I do think we're on to something anyway. Just sort of start with a box with, you know, like a hole in it, essentially. Which I like the archway instead. Maybe we do... You know what? We take the thing I've been building in King SMP, essentially, and use that as like a concept art. Like, that's not an awful idea. Okay. In that case, it's gonna be something sort of like... three different tubes there, essentially. But I need to do it a little bit better. So perspective sucks on this. Now I'm thinking about it. Oh my gosh, this is gonna suck. So you kind of need like really good review there, but because you're gonna be above it, sort of, it's kind of gotta stop there. So it just doesn't really work. Okay. Let's start with just a box. And then we'll go from there. Somewhere right about there. Okay, so, you know, we've got this cube, right? And, maybe what we could also do is sort of have, like, this other detail over here where it's just kind of a little pathway of some sort. And with it, we can kind of tell a story of some sort. That's kind of what this is going to become. As you go further out, this road slowly becomes more and more narrow because it is farther away. That's how perspective works. Okay. And then while we're at it, you just gotta add some, like, detail here. I'm trying to think, what would you want out there? Like, some little trees? I don't know. That works, so that's something I can start with anyway. I mean, I don't really know much else about this other than sort of how that sort of works. Okay, so you got like a very, very basic outline, right? What does he say next? I'm curious.
Sometimes the easiest approach. So we're gonna have some really blue sky, big surprise, and then try to figure out the rest until all of your main elements are blocked in with just flat color. Working with a larger brush stroke is better at this step. Never ever work with small brush strokes.
Okay, so he's now recommending you color in. He's got like a fancy little brush. I don't know if I got one of those. This is probably my closest one. So, he's using big brush, and he just kind of let me do this on a new layer. Just gonna sort of do like something sort of like this. I should probably not do black. Now I think about it, I like the idea of doing black, but I think it's a terrible idea. Let's go with like gray, that way I can see it. Okay. One thing I want is like some green. Like that. It's gotta be the same size as this canvas though, so let me do that and crop this layer to the content. Or not content, crop this layer to the selection. There we go. That should do. So with this one, we're just gonna sort of do like that anyway. Just for the sake of ease anyway. Okay. And I need blue. Nice blue skies, you know. We love blue skies. This should kind of help. I don't know exactly how it's going to help, but it should help. We're just kind of guessing our way through it with a little help from some dude on the internet. Nothing wrong with that. Except I'm not so sure I know what I'm doing exactly. Okay, and then we gotta get like a good brown color for the pathway, I think. So maybe something like that. Yeah. Watch this. This is gonna turn into something. I don't know what, but it'll turn into something. We're gonna have to redo like all the coloring. It's gonna need so much, but wow. Hey Nuggy, how's it going? Okay, so one thing I just want to quickly fix. Just because you can't physically go over the over into the sky. There we go. So I'll fix that later, but you know, there's something so far.
No, really, but what I mean is it's all about efficiency, and specifically in the beginning of the process, you want to be a bit more decisive with your shapes, so you don't have to meddle with smaller brush strokes. So try to pick something convenient for you, a bigger textured brush stroke to block in all those main shapes, and check out the readability, check out how the silhouettes work with each other and the relation between the values.
So I don't have a whole lot of edges, but essentially what he did anyway was you do, for example, like a sun up here, right? Let's see, so the sun helps if I use the right color anyway. Like that. Well, no, it couldn't be there. It'd have to be like right here. And if I did that in yellow, like that. Okay. Oops. Yellow. Something more like that anyway. Let's see. Just had a 10-minute argument with my mom because she wouldn't buy me bus tickets to get to the bank because I didn't want to take the bus. She was saying to take, and I had a different route in mind, and I said, I'll buy my own then. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm sorry they had an argument, but also, I mean, why does she care what route you take? So long as you go where you're trying to go, right? Also, let me quickly clean up the lines a little bit here. They don't have to be exact, just a little closer, ideally. Okay. So essentially all I gotta do over here, guess I really meant there. Okay. We take this color and then we darken it a little bit. And boom. It's basically darker. But there's another thing you can do here, and that's like shadows. So if I take this color and I darken it a little bit, so it's like that. And now I take a smaller brush. You'll kind of see what I'm talking about anyway. Something like that. Except on the right layer. I gotta go. Good luck with your art and have a good night. All right, thank you so much. I appreciate you hanging out, and hopefully we'll catch you again later. And good luck. Good luck with your mom. I know she's a handful. Let's see. Just a little bit of this. So the theoretical line there anyway would be somewhere right about there. And same thing with the brown. I'm gonna take a darker brown as well. Sort of go up here to eventually about that point, I think. And so that's sort of how you would do the lighting, I think. Kind of. I mean, it's not perfect, but it sort of is right. Kind of. Okay. That's about the best I've ever done a shadow. So I'll take that. That's reassuring. I've done something somewhat right. I've learned something, right? What else does he recommend here?
Is that I also constantly adjust and look at the values, and I'm using simple adjustment tools like the curve editor or just the brightness adjustment. I'm making sure that everything reads as good as possible. Lighting
So I mean, he's got like a pretty good mind here. I mean, the dude's had some experience, obviously, and this isn't exactly the video I was hoping for. I was hoping for more of like a thought process video. He went more of a step by step, so he didn't explain, you know, like how he goes about picking his angles, how he goes about, you know, choosing what elements to include and when. He's just kind of like, oh yeah, so I started by doing all my basic lines. And it's like, that's cool, but, you know, it would be nice to have a little bit more there. But we're going to finish following this tutorial, I think, if we can.
Is really important. And after you have some silhouettes and shapes ready, you can start by working a little bit on your form. Figure out where is your light source and start indicating which planes are facing the light and which ones are in the shadow. I've also added some clouds in the background to add extra depth to the whole scene.
So I picked a very boring shape, but it did add a shadow. Unfortunately, couldn't really do a whole lot more because of just where I put the lighting and all that. But what we could do to add some more depth is we can add our own cloud. You know, there we go. Yay, clouds. And to be fair, we could even add one there as well. Which would mean we could also get rid of this. And with that, you could even add some shadows casted by the clouds, which would be right about here. So we'll have it casted over here as well. So we gotta do darker green. If you try something like that, right? I don't know how this is gonna look, but just to experiment, you know. I've gotta say, this is at least fun. I haven't gotten to mess with color too much. So even if it turns out looking crappy, I mean, one, that was kind of the point. I wouldn't have chosen a square if I didn't want it to look somewhat derpy, but I mean, okay, the shadow is actually not bad. It's not bad. King, my brain is being reduced to pixels in 16 count sections. It hurts. Homie, you need to teach me how to do that at some point. I need to learn. And I think you might just be the guy to teach me. So I think we take a little bit of a darker white there. And we just kind of give the clouds a little bit of shading as well. I mean, this side of the cloud is facing away from the sun, so it's going to have a little bit more darkness to it. And you won't notice it, but it's there. Okay. Obviously, my lines aren't clean. I need to probably clean those up at some point, but we'll wait.
But also to frame the composition a little bit. I figured since we're going for this slightly stylized look, we can try to get the clouds to be a shape that frames the image and kind of points at our focal area at the huge crystal on the temple. The more tools you can use to drive the contrast on your focal area, the better. But of course, don't overdo it. You don't want to have something noisy with a lot of contrast.
So what he's recommending essentially is I want to highlight this, right? Because this is the main focus of my scene, probably. So how do I do that? Well, considering it's one of the few objects in the scene, it's pretty easy already. And we've already kind of done a little bit of detail there, but how else could I do that? So we've already done a little bit of shadows and such. So about my only other option would be to add more shadows around it to kind of make it pop. But I don't know if I moved the sun instead, so it's over here instead, then that would give me two shadow angles, which would, you know, be better overall. I was gonna type that I'm not sure you would want to learn it, and I literally was about to type learn as LURN. My brain is rotting. Oh no. Oh me. Oof. Well, back to UV mapping. Wish me sanity. Good luck. Good luck. Also, I guess our bot is dead. Thank you for the lurk. I appreciate it. I hate UV mapping, man. That was one of the few things I could do a little bit of. I wasn't good at it, but I was able to do a little bit of it when I was still doing Blender. And like I said, I did not like it. I did not like it very much. Okay, so what if we tried... Okay. What if we tried to get rid of the sky here? Or not the sky, but the sun, right? Because now we can theorize where the sun is instead. The light is just coming in. You don't have to see the sun to know it's somewhere out there. That gives me more opportunity to add more shadow, which will kind of highlight the cube even more. So it'd be somewhere over here, essentially. And this should be a shorter shadow now I think about it. Something more like that. Okay. Possibly even larger, kind of like that instead. Okay. This shadow is a little bit wacky now, but it's fine. And then we can even add a little patch of darker grass over here, but it's not much. So I mean, it's something. You know, we've at least gotten somewhere with it. It's not nearly as cool as his scene, but... So he spends a little bit of time...
together with the foreground.
Like, since he started with such basic shapes, he can already kind of come in and add some, like, more lines and details on the foreground and such.
Have to push the values a bit first to get a feeling of light hitting the planes and also describe them a little better. I'm thinking to keep the foreground in the shadows and also the top of the temple as well. It will add some additional contrast to our focal area and make the composition a little bit more interesting, a bit more epic. Actually, it's quite important to mention when you design something, try to figure out ways to add more interest for the viewer. So
okay, so yeah, basically he's saying, like, you know, keep searching, keep thinking about ways that you can make it look interesting so that you can draw attention to the right spots, and that way somebody wants to look at it.
not just a plain wall, for example, but with some bevels or parts that extrude, or maybe some textural variation, color, and so on.
So instead of it just being, you know, a basic square, you add some details to it that would add, you know, more shadows and more detail. So if I add, for example, we come over here again. That's not the right one. Where's the right layer? This one? Yeah, I messed up, but it's fine. Yeah. So on this layer, let's say you add like a... We're gonna try to bring back that archway that I was wanting to do. Something sort of like that. Because it connects. Then you can do... See if I can fix this. Make it the gray. This gray? Yeah. Okay. Let me utilize that a little bit here. But in order to like make this more interesting, you can now add like the darker gray. So this one over this, sort of. Like that. And then on the inside here as well. And then you'd have to add some more interest because you need a little bit more detail, unfortunately. Just because it's kind of confusing where it starts and where it begins, or where it starts and where it ends. So if you do like that, for example, then you could do like a sort of do that, which sort of helps anyway. Okay, and then go back to this brush and shrink it down. Oops. There we go. One thing I could also do, and I think I will do it, is come right here. So I know it's supposed to go up one there, and that gives me the ability to remove all of that. Okay. And you can even add a even darker gray right there. I would even hedge your bet that you could go even darker than that. Like that. You need to also remove this, otherwise it's looking too wacky. Which layer is that on? I don't know. Something is not working. Uh-oh. Okay. So why is my eraser not working? Maybe my selection was still made? Yeah, okay. I don't know where my selection was, but it was made somewhere and it was throwing a little bit of a fit. Let's get a smaller brush here and we'll kind of remove some of these lines. That should help kind of get people to understand the perspective a little bit better. Okay. That works. Okay. Also, I need to fix up here. There we go. That seems to have it pretty well fixed as well. Okay. Let's grab our darker green again. Go with a smaller brush this time, just so I can kind of get in here. Grab our dark brown again as well. Shrink it down. There we go. It's a little bit of interest. It's nothing too crazy, but it at least adds something to it, I guess. I've gotta say, I'm impressed with how he's done this. Like, it looks really good. Tells me that there's a long way I can go as well. Which is, you know, which is good.
We've been working on...
Okay, what we got?
Up until now, we've been working on the major forms and the contrast between them, and now slowly I'm switching to a more detail-oriented phase. So more often you can see me zoom in and work on some smaller area, adding some variation for the materials, making sure that we have a feeling that the surface of the building has some sort of layers and it's not just like a monolith or something like that. And it's really a good idea if you're not going to be stuck in one place, but spend enough time on all the planes and areas of interest.
Okay.
That being said, definitely start with the focal point. In our case, it's this big crystal, so a little bit of extra detail, highlights will go a long way to make the impression overall better.
So I don't really have many surfaces to do that with, just because I opted for a pretty jagged, or not jagged area, pretty flat, you know. But that being said, it's not the worst thing, because I'm not really going to spend much more time on it, to be honest. I just wanted to get something going here. I'm on an eraser, that's why. There we go. There we go. So let's just finish watching this video, see what else he gets up to. And then maybe next time I do this, we'll try like extra hard at something. I just know I don't have time to do everything that he's doing in this, plus I need a more interesting scene to even try it with. I gotta say though, like, it's crazy. Like, sometimes you look at it and go, okay, how does he make it even better than this? And then, like, you know, 5 seconds later, he's already adding, like, so many more details. Like, every 5 seconds, you're looking at it, it's like, wow. Now, admittedly, this is probably sped up, you know, 8 times speed or whatever, but still.
Another thing I'm looking at is the middle ground and the fact that it can be designed a little bit better. So I'm trying to separate the planes a little bit more, make it look like between the character and his goal there's like a huge pit or something, so it's not like a walk in the park. In this case, it always helps to add a little bit of atmosphere and push the values to show that there is some distance between the planes.
Wow. And just with a couple of small changes there, now it feels pretty sizable difference. Again, I'm impressed. It didn't take much, but suddenly it felt much farther. It's impressive.
Glow.
He's adding a glow, it makes it more
For some
interesting.
finishing touches, you might want to try to push the contrast where the crystal area is. Add some glow, make sure that there are some interesting, vibrant color accents here and there, and I think we can call it a day for this sketch. thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed the process. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps a lot. Don't forget to drop any questions or comments you have about the process. I'm trying to answer as many as I can.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I'll also do some more research on this. Maybe I'll do some art tonight as well, just off stream. That way I can actually focus on it a little bit more. That's why I like these streams. We can kind of goof off and do things silly, kind of like these things. You know, I don't really try as hard with this kind of stuff. This one I didn't really even try hard either. Like, you know, I could have done more. I mean, it's a box. I haven't even cleaned up any lines. So, like, I'm fully aware, like, you know, I'm not really trying too much on these streams, but I do want to try more off stream because I got more time and we might be able to do some things. About the last, you know, last couple of minutes there, I think we learned a little bit about shading and lighting and such for a scene. I like how most of that turned out. I think it at least can be used a little bit for something eventually. But that's not bad. I am gonna have to call it there though for tonight, just because I have a lot I gotta get done tonight. I gotta get a video done to post sometime this week, next week. And I got to pack tomorrow. I've got an eye doctor's appointment. I have a trip that I leave for basically Friday morning. So it's a never-ending ordeal, really. I'm constantly doing things. Good news, though, you know. Trying to find some good news really quick about that. The good news is that I won't be this busy forever. And that's comforting, I guess. Alright. I think that's what we're gonna call it. If you guys are hanging around, if you're lurking, any of that stuff, none of my friends are live right now, I don't think. So I'm just gonna let you guys go off and find your own people to go hang out with if you are interested in that. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna call it a night here. No raid tonight. Thank you guys for watching though. Appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll catch you guys again hopefully tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the last day before I go on my vacation. So hopefully we'll catch you then. Good night, everybody.